Hey, this is Synthetic and Blank Tester back with episode 4 of Splashdown, tracks 13 through 16, and this time we're playing with Amman Ra.
See, after we saw the height of
Very good, my
Luke
friend.
Lamouche in wait, what did he say?
Very good, my friend.
Wow, that sounded kind of racist. Anyway,
You laughed at his voice last episode, like gave a giant hearty laugh, like you could not.
His voice is ridiculous.
Oh, it's more amazing when he goes off a jump and he goes like, ah! Because he has two versions of that. One where he really sounds like he's terrified, and then one where he half-asses it. He's just like, ah! It's like, what the fuck?
That's wow.
That wasn't him.
Right. That was definitely not him.
I actually kind of like how his jet ski more than the others. Like, I think there's 4 or 5.
Jesus.
There's like 4 or 5 brands in this game, and like each character, I think there's like 2 of the 8 characters have a certain, I guess, layout to their jet skis, and I like his more because it's not as colorful. Like some of the others, when you're green, it's green just all over. It's just like,
Was that one of those?
yeah.
Was that the underwhelming one?
I think that was the terrified one, and that was him
my
laughing.
God.
But
So
what I'm
the
trying,
underwhelming one must sound awful.
what I'm trying to say in shitty words is that this jet ski looks like less of a complete blob of colors, and looks actually all right.
I agree. I think this jet ski looks nice.
Also, that was the first time I ever crashed right there,
Wow.
and that's the way you're supposed to go.
Wait, no. You crashed on the water earlier. Wait,
No,
was that
no,
him just shouting for no reason?
Yes, I crashed on the water earlier because I didn't complete a trick in time. I crashed on that ramp because, I don't know, that ramp never gave me problems, but then I act paranoid the next 2 laps, so I don't really know.
That's good. Acting paranoid is usually a good thing.
Something about the tracks I should mention is that on hard mode, I've gone through hard mode and I've recorded some of the tracks that change up the most. And on hard mode, you start and the beginning tracks are certainly different. Like the hard mode version of the first track, that's the underwhelming one.
Oh, okay.
He's just like, ah!
Yeah, that was he really half-assed that.
But the hard mode version of the first track is so different that, like, A, it sets you up to think they'll be that different. B, it's obvious that's the one the developers worked the most on. And then the next couple are different. Like, they add extra obstacles. Sometimes they remove ramps. Sometimes you take new paths. But then, like, as you go through the 20 levels, the tracks start getting less and less different than their normal mode versions until you get, like, here to the 13th track, and the layout isn't different at all. They haven't changed anything with the tracks, even though you can see, like, up here, different areas that go off to the left that you're not supposed to go here, and you're also not supposed to go in hard mode. Like, look at that fence. They could have removed that fence, and there were more places for you to go that they blocked off that they could have added to change up the track, but they don't. And
Wait, so you can't go that way even on hard mode?
no, the track is supposed to go this way, and if you go that way, they'll be like, you have 3 seconds to get back on track, or we'll reset you. So basically, by the end of the tracks on hard mode, just the lighting changes pretty much. Like, it's just set during a different time of day. Maybe they add a bit more obstacles in one place, but that's it. Like, they started strong, and then they burned out really quickly.
Are you gonna do a video like that, or maybe not?
Yeah, I've got some of the more modified tracks recorded, and I can show a lap from each of those, kind of like the ones that stand out the most.
So you think you're gonna do that maybe as a bonus video if people really want?
Just as a bonus video in general.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we mentioned Tokyo last video. This is the Tokyo level.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, are you so excited?
I'm so excited. We so excited. No, I'm not gonna do that. So give me a rundown of all the generic things that they run through here.
All right. Well, there's pagodas like everywhere.
Oh, fucking pagodas.
Pagodas like goddamn everywhere. Like, look, there's one off. Well, no, there's like kind of one off to the left, but you can't really tell. There's a bunch. There's a bunch.
Okay.
There's one of those like bridges.
Maybe you should have a pagoda counter.
You fly.
No, that seems like a lot of work. Don't do a pagoda counter.
Would you count this as one because
Yeah,
you fly
definitely.
through one, and then branching paths? Each one jumps through a pagoda.
Wow, they really went all out with the. What is this level called?
Tokyo.
Oh, really? They don't have like level names.
No, there aren't level names. There's just places. Like some of the levels earlier had levels that weren't like city names or something, like Three Rivers and Mission Bay. But I'm pretty sure those are still places in the world.
What are those trees? Like, is Japan known for having those trees?
I don't really remember, honestly. I'm not like a Japan whatever.
Expert, yeah.
But then here's the weird part. So this giant turning area on the right suddenly jumps up into like a fortress with neon glowing lights and ramps with, in a gray and red color scheme. Of course, all going through like a massive pagoda. But
Honestly, I think it would have been nice to see, those arena levels that we were talking about. They could have changed up where they are or whatever, or changed up the look of them. I think this would have been a nice theme to it. This would have been cool.
like you could use these for pieces.
Yeah.
So that is their Japan is also super futuristic part of the level, and I was going for that red wetsuit, but apparently I just missed it, and then I got rocketed off the craft as Amman Ra broke his ass.
He broke his ass.
Yeah. For the rest of the track, that's pretty much obviously the same thing, but the tracks really seem to get a little underwhelming after a while. I think, with 20 tracks, and of course being circuit tracks, it's a little tough to make each one a great track, make each one a standout track. I heard the sequel, of course Splashdown 2, Rides Gone Wild, only has like 7 or 8 tracks, but
This
they...
game has a sequel?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Did it get good reviews?
I don't remember. Also, there's a look back button. Remember that. I rediscovered that during recording this level, and I think I have some fun with it
How could you have fun with that?
by just hitting it like all the time. But yeah, so I heard the sequel. I haven't played it, but I heard that it only has like 7 or 8 tracks, but that they change up like every single lap. So obviously add more, I guess even more variety per track rather than having 20 that are sort of the same. Like sure, in this game, like you won't see this kind of mecha fortress area anywhere else, but of course 4 of the tracks are just stadiums that have been rebuilt, and it probably wasn't super intensive to just go over and re-sculpt a level, in hills and such. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You've done a little bit of work on like the Crisis engine. You've done a little bit of map making, like with an actual engine.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like how easy is it to build in an engine like this if you know what you're doing?
Well, I mean, for the most part, the way they do this is the geometry of the level itself is done, and this is how it's done in the Unreal Engine, and this is how it's done in the Crytek engine. They do it with...
I have no fucking idea where I'm going, so...
oh my god!
I did it for you! I did it all for you, viewer! I stuck to the wall for you! Okay, so...
So, basically, and this may not be the way they did it here, and if they didn't, I'd be really surprised, actually. But, more or less, what they do is they take... They figure out what they want the level to look like on paper, obviously, and then they build static meshes, which are basically just like objects that they can place and copy and put wherever they'd like, and then they form the ground around that however they need it to look. So if they want it to look dug up, they'll morph the ground just by moving points in three-dimensional space, and then they'll simulate it and run the game in debug mode and try it out and see how that goes. And if it doesn't work, then they adjust things. But for the most part, all of these like pagodas and stuff, I'm guessing they're all the same static mesh, only like resized. Probably.
Yeah, there's just one that's been copy-pasted over and over. But I'm talking about, like, sure, all the water is flat. Like, I don't really know if you go downhill or uphill actually in the water. I know there's ramps, but I don't remember if there's any parts where the water actually goes uphill or downhill.
I don't think
and that's probably because otherwise they'd have to like model currents and such. Also, it's the Egypt level, and we're playing as the Egyptian character. I just thought that was kind of cool.
I think it's a little odd that the Nile River has a circuit, even though the Nile River doesn't go in circles.
Yeah, they ran out of lakes. But okay, so for building all the hills and such around the actual level, you're saying they just sculpt kind of to give it sort of
to give it a feel like, I mean, they could have just left it as these blocky, flat things, and everything would look like Minecraft. And Minecraft is great and all, but I don't think an extreme sports game is really going for that feel. So, it's really more about the geography and the world around them besides the static meshes is really just kind of optional, and you can change that as much as you want before the release of the game.
And I'm not saying, well, the tracks are kind of creative, like, they have had thought put into them, and, due to changing up the lighting or changing up the color or even just building pieces for individual levels, I did not get that sub dive off in time, because it seems like the faster you go, the longer it takes to sub dive, and it doesn't take the same amount of time. That's one thing I like about Jet X2O over Splashdown. If you pull back and then forward correctly, you'll pretty much sub dive 100% of the time, whereas in Splashdown it's just holding forward, so it's a little random. So, like I was saying, with the right lighting and maybe even changing the color and maybe even building new pieces, it is pretty easy to give a level its own unique feel. Thanks, Sebastian, for lowering my speed to yours by merely touching you again. I'm just saying that with 20 levels, sometimes they can sort of start to blend into each other.
Yeah.
Again, especially with the 4 stadium levels. Not as bad as Excitebike 64 and its 9 or 10 levels that were stadium levels.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're basically getting that, yeah.
You haven't had to make a racing game, though, or a circuit or such. You've maybe, I don't know how much you've made, probably just played around in it a little. That's pretty much all you told me, unless you have some super secret project that you want the internet to know about.
I do not have any super secret projects because, yeah, I just played around with it. I still have the UDK, and I still have the Crytek development kit. Oh no, I got rid of the Crytek development kit because it was wearing down on my battery. But they're really, really powerful, and you can play around with them. They're free to download, so I'm not some kind of big shot or anything. But I've just played around with them and designed a couple levels and just kind of looked at how the whole thing works, and it's really nice and intuitive. And hopefully, I'm really hoping that, they used a similar sort of intuitive setup, because if they didn't, I feel really bad for them.
You mean for people who made Splashdown?
Yeah.
Who hand-coded everything?
Yeah, like with ones and zeros, they decided, they went into assembly code and just wrote like 1 0 0 1 0, and then like Amman Ra had this goofy sound to him.
Through code, they made his voice.
Yeah, through code. Yeah,
we don't even need voice actors anymore.
Yeah, they just encoded like yeah, that's I really hope they didn't do everything line by line, because that would be really sad. Really sad.
They probably didn't. The rest of the stuff Rainbow Studios makes was really the same thing done over and over and over again. As I've mentioned, they did the Cars series, well, like the 1 or 2 Cars video games, as well as the whole ATV plus MX, ATV vs MX series. So they probably had a whole bunch of generic code that they could just recopy and repaint.
Generic code.
Thanks, Bearda.
So you said they could copy and paste, and I think this is worth mentioning. It's not that they, like, you know, it's not that small time studios do that. A lot of big time studios do that too. Like I know Bethesda, when they were making Fallout 3, they literally copied and pasted what they had for Oblivion and then just started undoing things. Like, that's how they built the game. They started by copying and pasting the entirety of Oblivion, and then took things out and put things in until they had a new game. And that's why, if you go into the Fallout 3, into the system files and stuff, you can still find stuff from Oblivion that you can still use. And then people have had fun with that. It's not an uncommon practice.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That actually seems a little cool, as long as you modify it enough to not be a complete, hack. I played Fallout 3, haven't played Oblivion. You've played both. Do any parts of it, like...
Oh my god! Jesus Christ! That looks so painful! Oh. Wow! Holy crap. What were you saying?
Does it really seem to stand out that they used copy and paste at all? Like, do any parts geometrically really seem to look the same in something that's not obviously a homage? Homage?
No. Well, basically, Fallout 3 plays like Oblivion with guns, which,
Yeah, oh yeah, well.
Which, I mean, is fucking sweet anyways. But, the Fallout 3's geography doesn't feel like it, because they've got so many different other things on top of it. Now, they may have not modified certain parts, but I'm pretty sure they modified most of it. And then, of course, all the static meshes are different, and all that other good stuff is different. So,
right. Well, anyway, this is the 4th stadium level, Soul 2. I guess they added the ceiling on, so now you're staring up at pitch blackness.
That's kind of scary.
But this is kind of, they really brought it more over the top for the final stadium level. There's more huge jumps that go over previous sections of the track. I don't actually know what happens if you have the wrong amount of speed to land on something further up. Like, if the game will reset you, or if you have to drive all the way around. I know, because I do it later in this recording, you can just not take a ramp and just go under the area you already did, but if you, land where Joanna, the other character, was going across right there, would you have to go all the way around the loop? I don't know. And so, wide areas of this seem pretty open, and then other areas have, even bigger air. So if for some reason you really wanted to do the biggest of the biggest moves, which meant you really wanted to spend 2 or 3 seconds rotating the stick around to getting the moves, then this is the area to show them all off. Here, if you really want to do a signature trick, you could probably do it here. Again, there's no real reason to do all the moves, and I got distracted. I just got distracted, let's just say that. So yeah, here, intentionally don't go off the ramp very well, and then I can just go under.
So it didn't matter at all whether or not you... Do you think that was faster or no difference?
I think I got distracted again, right there.
No!
Oh no!
That sounds like...
I should be a voice actor.
Oh my god, anybody could be a voice actor for this game. Apparently.
I want to go back to the early 2000s and be a extreme sports voice actor.
Wow.
I was just showing off there. See, yeah, it seems in Splashdown, if you hold back pretty much as soon as you get in the water, you can just start bobbing and weaving.
Bobbing and weaving and popping wheelies. Oh, snap!
Bob like a butterfly, zip like a bee.
That's not the quote. Wait, she's saying "let's go" excitedly, but she's like, "Damn it, Tad."
whenever you beat someone in one of these stadium races, like their voice clip, they're positive. Like they're like, "All right, yo, good job," while they're basically like
Bitching out.
throwing a fit on their jet ski. Yeah,
That's awesome. That's really cool.
really,
No.
really cool.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
Instead of being just confusing
And weird,
and
yeah.
sort of dumb. All right, Splashdown is
Nearly over.
nearly over. Next time, the last 4 levels, including some of the strangest and most confusing, and of course, longest.
Really?
Yeah,
How
and
long is the next...
and of course, like dumbest levels. I mean, the end game really isn't that great.
It's like a real hodgepodge of awesome and awful.
Hodgepodge of okay and awful, but
Great.
see you then.